Hey everyone, I'm here with Dave Nolan, president and founder of Imagination Design Studios and Studio Y Creations. Dave, how you doing?
Doing well, Jeff. How are you doing? Thanks for having me today.
I'm great, sir. Great to connect with you. Dave, just to start off, can you give us a little bit of background on your company, what you guys do, and kind of the current situation for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a Calgary-based company that sells mostly to US customers. We design and manufacture very, very high quality display props. So in the past, our business was mostly in the museum and theme park industry. And today, the brand that we have, Imagination Design Studios, is focused on medical facilities, but mostly pediatric dental offices. So 90% of our customers are US, 90% of the work is in the medical space.
And you and I talked a little bit. You guys aren't getting hit necessarily as hard, but it's affecting you a little bit. What's the current impact on you guys with the COVID-19?
So, yeah, we're a little bit different. So, on the upside, when the Canadian dollar takes a hit, it's a benefit to me. I mean, it's hard to say that, especially being an Alberta company. But when oil tanks, the Canadian dollar is impacted. When the US dollar becomes stronger because of that, it's better for us. So we get paid in US dollars. The conversion rate works positively for us. Um, in terms of the impact for us, it's weird because our business is we are working with customers that are very impacted by COVID. So they are shut down. Dentists have been shut down in most states. And so there was this sort of trepidation from a lot of the customers that we had sort of on the bubble, if you will. And that definitely impacted our schedule because there's been sort of a slow. But interestingly, our customers are very entrepreneurial. We have a lot of early adopters in our space. And so when you say to them, okay, you've got to stop, they can only stop for so long. And then it's like, okay, I've stopped for a while. I need to get back at this. So what we've seen over the last several weeks is our customers that have sort of put things on hold a little bit have said, enough for the on hold. What do we need to do to get things going again? And so we're struggling with, we put a lot of effort in, and we had some jobs, over $1 million worth of projects that were sort of raring to go, and then it did stop. But we're starting to see them come back now. So we're busy. I have about 42 staff, half of which work on computers, so what we call pre-production, and then half of which work in our studio. We have a 24,000 square foot studio in Calgary. And it's actually worked out very well for us because everybody that can work on a computer can actually work from home, and it's been fine. We've had no issues at all. The social side, we're a very culture-based company, and I don't think any of us had line of sight to how much that would impact us. So we really like working with each other. We really put a lot of effort into having good connections with each other, and that part's difficult. But the rest of the staff, they're all working together, but they're not in close proximity. Usually, 6 feet minimum. We probably got closer to 25, 30 feet for the studio staff. So we're very fortunate that way. I must admit, Jeff, the one word that's always been front of mind for me when listening to other people's stories is how grateful I am and how grateful we are as a business. So as difficult as it is, we're in a slightly different position than many.
So you are right now, Dave, but you and I were talking earlier, and I think that, you've been in business for 25 plus years. You've got some tenure there. But you have had some challenges in the past. For some of those younger entrepreneurs or newer entrepreneurs, tell us about, what happened to you guys back in 2008? Because you've been faced with crises before with your business. Can you fill us in on that a bit?
Yeah, happy to. When we were focused on the theme park industry and museum industry, we were a company that builds very, very high quality work. And so our price point, we were never in a race to the bottom when it came to price. So in the theme park industry, there was always lots of work until something dramatically changes. So when the recession hit, I remember being in Orlando for a theme park industry related trade show, very large trade show. And I remember being conscious of half as many people walking through the front door. And that's a significant number considering the size of the show. And I think as an elite brand and as somebody that builds a very high quality, very expensive product, we knew it would impact us. We knew immediately, okay, while we're actually standing here in the show, we need to think about a way out of this. And I remember, thinking about all of the customers that we'd worked with that previous year, or at least the year we were in, and was there anybody that was recession proof? Not that there is a thing or such a thing, but is there anything close to that? And where we landed was doctors, pediatric dentists specifically. And the reason for that was, if your teeth hurt, you're going to go get them fixed. We recognized that that industry that we were serving was, it was very underserved. It was brand new. It was a risk. But we looked at it and we thought, if we could effectively dominate, not monopolize, but be the leader in that industry, it would take a lot of work, but there was a lot of great customers there that could benefit from working with our company. And we actually created a new brand called Imagination Design Studios. And it was a pivotal shift for us. It was scary because it was brand new. We'd have to convince, imagine this, you've got a dentist that we're going to try to convince to spend, say, 150 to 250,000 US dollars to convert their office into Disneyland, if you will. And it's a little company, or at least perceived as a little company out of Canada, a bunch of wacky artists that are going to turn your office into Disneyland. Hey, do you want to write me a check for 250 grand? That was tough. In the very beginning, I remember, not wanting to have conversations around price and finding ways to sort of, baby step around these challenging conversations. And now it's completely changed. The landscape's changed. We are the leader in the industry, I'm proud to say. We've done over 400, I think closer to 450 fully themed offices. And we're very, very busy. As I said, 90% of our work is in that space. It was a critical move for us. And I was very fortunate to have a team of people that could help me make that move happen. But it's the best decision we've ever made. It's the kind of work that we love to do, and we've gotten even better at it. And there's no loser in this situation. We're helping children go to the dentist and have a better outcome or better experience. The customer gets a cutting edge office, something that's unique to them, that makes them stand out from their competition. So in times of real challenges, that was a silver lining that came out, and it was a risk. And I knew that when we took that risk that it may not pay off, but it did. And now we're reaping the rewards of that. And it's impacting us today. I mean, this customer is still a very stable customer. And I do know other businesses that are still in the theme park and the museum industry that are struggling to stay afloat. So I'm very grateful for that experience and then bringing it to 2020.
So based on that, with the downturn in 2008 in the US, had you just tried doing what you were doing, I mean, how would the story have been different if you guys would have just stayed with the theme parks?
Yeah, we were already in this facility, so we had a large space. I would imagine we would have shrunk, or at least made the choice to shrink. Um, I think had it gone the wrong way, I'm an entrepreneurial person and I've been kicked and knocked down before, and you get back up. But I think it would have changed things dramatically. We wouldn't be the scale we're at today. We wouldn't have the potential we have today. We were never a leader in that industry because there's just too many big companies that are willing to sort of cut their own throat to be the leaders. So we were never on that path. I don't know, Jeff. I hate to say we wouldn't be in business, but it's very possible. I mean, you really do need to think, thrive, not survive. What can I do right now? What opportunity is presented versus, oh, woe is me. I really think it's about a mindset shift, and I think it's critical for entrepreneurs to be willing to do that and take some chances, make some sacrifices.
Well, and again, that kind of leads to the next point. I mean, you and I were talking previously about just that drive that it takes. I mean, again, when you've been in business, you've learned some lessons. There's a lot of people that are learning lessons for the first time. So, I mean, what kind of advice would you have for those new entrepreneurs?
The best advice I have is lean into your core groups, your friends, your business friends. Like, listen to stories and take anything away from it. Organizations like EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization, are extremely valuable. I coach EOA groups, and I find just listening to their challenges and just helping them along the way helps me tremendously. So just being able to share your challenges and then share in other people's and help them and have them help you is huge. I think that's the best advice I can give, is lean in where you can and know that you're not alone and that you need other people to help you, even if it's just getting an ear from them.
The one other thing you mentioned, Dave, is about being Calgary based. I mean, one of the big things I talked to quite a few people about is that, I mean, Alberta's been kicked in the teeth, with the energy downturn and now this. The fact that you're pulling American dollars into Calgary and into Alberta, I think is a great thing. Do more of that. But what's, like, you guys could have probably been potentially more prosperous had you moved south of the border. Why are you still in Calgary?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I mean, in simple terms, we've invested, this is our 26th year in business. We've invested a huge amount of energy, money, time into our company. Our company is about our people. We build amazing stuff. I really am proud of the work we do, but it is really about amazing people, great people, and I can't replace those. I could pick up this company, move down to South Dakota, I don't know, somewhere where to operate the cost is little. I know that most of the materials that, well, if not all the materials I have, I can easily get into the United States. So I could literally move somewhere else, anywhere else, and probably make more net profit, you know, practically day one. But I'll never replace these people, or at least collectively, I've got an incredible group of people that do amazing work, and that's the biggest asset we have in this company. Yes, we're a financially responsible company. We've built a very good base so that we can sort of push through this COVID thing, but at the end of the day, we've got unbelievable people. I'll give you an example of just, this is the reminder that's very recent. One of the staff that works for us, her grandmother passed away, previous to passing away, in the Mackenzie Town, the old folks home. Sorry, the wrong terms not coming to my mind, but the retirement home. And and it was affecting her because her grandmother hadn't passed yet, but I remember having a conversation around, I wish we could do something. And then one of our staff said, well, what if we made masks? Like, why don't we make masks? We could bring in sewing machines, and, we didn't have any here, but what if we did that? What if we made masks? So I was like, just the fact that they thought it would be a good idea, there's no way I wasn't going to get behind it. So I said, great. In fact, why don't we do more than that? Why don't we print three-dimensional face shields? I'm sure you've seen it on Facebook and social media. There's companies out there that have created plastic face shields that are 3D printed. Well, we had a 3D printer, we still do, and they're not expensive. Like the desktop ones are quite inexpensive. So I thought, well, what if we spend a couple $1,000s, buy some more equipment, and let's make as many of these as we possibly can. We can give them to dentists, we can give them to frontline workers, we can give them to anybody that we think we can help within our community. And I think doing that and having everybody get behind it and show up early to print these things and put them together and mail them to people, it built, even though we weren't physically together, it built our culture, and it proved to me that, boy, it's all about our people and all about the way that we think about each other and our community. So Calgary is our home. I love Calgary. I love Alberta. I love the people that are here. It's not always about the dollars. We are a profitable company, and we do have success, but we have the success because of Calgarians that work for us. So.
Well, you know what, and I think that's a great point, because I think that's one of those things, is that we can build companies like yours and expand outside of our borders, and I think that's what we want to see more of. And this is that time for people to kind of get creative and figure out how can you shift gears and look for that opportunity like you guys did in 2008, and really capitalize on this, the unfortunate downturn. But any other words of advice you'd have, Dave, to fellow business leaders that are out there?
Yeah, use this time for the things that you don't normally get free time to do. We're all really busy. We really spend, we're putting out fires. Let's be honest, we can be as organized as we like, but we're still stomping fires out on a daily basis. I see it through the lens of, you can sit there and feel sorry for yourself, and you owe it to yourself to recognize the situation you're in, but you certainly owe it to yourself to pull your socks up and find a way out of it, at least what's within your control. And I think strategic plans, marketing plans, sales plans, like anything that you can do we call it polishing the diamond is the term we use at Studio Y. We've got this great diamond here, but it always needs a polish, and it can always look a little bit better. This is an incredible opportunity to really polish the diamond, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover another diamond you never knew you had. I think that use that time to thrive, not survive. That's the best advice I can give.
Well, you know what, and it's interesting. Again, you and I have been entrepreneurs for years, and I think the one thing that I find is that just like things are never going to go as you plan. Just when you
Yeah.
think you've got everything figured out,
Right. Right.
you know. So I get it
They
is
go the other way.
it goes the other way. So
Yeah. That's the fun of it, though, right? I mean, I think if somebody said to me, what's the best thing about your company? What's the worst thing? Like, interestingly, yes, it's the people, and it's definitely the products is a close second. But if it was easy, I think I'd be bored out of my mind. Like I see these, these challenges, like I don't want this to define our generation. Maybe it probably will, but I want to come out of this with stories about, well, this is what we did, and this is the difference that we made, and we didn't sit on our hands. And so we can create those kind of memories we can create today. And so there's opportunity in all of this. You can do something different. You can shift your mindset. You can help someone else. And it doesn't have to be about money. It can be about how do you carry yourself through this, so on the other side of it, you're a better company, and you've created something better for the people that work for you. I think that's an important part. If it was easy, Jeff, everybody would do it, and I'm glad that they don't.
No kidding, no kidding. Dave, I totally appreciate your time, and appreciate everything you're doing and giving back, and keep bringing those American dollars to Alberta, and
Thanks, Jeff.
we'll be able to connect in person here sometime soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I must admit, I am missing sort of the beer on the patio type thing. I don't think I've ever been a person that really craved going to the pub, even though I'm British, but I certainly do now. So yeah, I'll take you up on that, Jeff. I would love to. Thanks for having me today, and thanks for doing this yourself. I think this is really important what you're doing, and thanks for leading the charge on this. Calgary needs this, Alberta needs this, and I appreciate the effort you're making.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Take care.